Nicola Lister-Smith and Michael Lister from Leeds in the UK tell us all about their upcoming move to Mérida, Mexico, in this video interview with expats in Mexico. So why Mexico? Why did you decide to move to Mexico?
That's a good question, really. Nikki is she's one of these. She's quite tenacious. So when she gets an idea, she researches it, checks everywhere, and she's scoured the world. And one place she didn't consider was Mexico.
That's true.
So Mexico, up until last October, Mexico was not even in the picture. And we looked at the Far East, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, etc. And for me, it was just a bit too much. It's me personally said, no, that's not what I fancy at all. I don't fancy that. We considered Spain, but because of the current economic climate in Europe, not just in the UK, that sort of went on the back burner. And then we went on holiday to Mexico, my choice, when I retired. And there it was. Bing, a light came on.
Where did you go to vacation?
We just went to where everybody from England goes to, which is Cancun. We stayed in a lovely, fantastic hotel there. And then we went for a week in, is it Isla Mujeres? And we just thought, you know what? We like the way the Mexicans are. We like the way things are. Nothing's perfect wherever you go. So Nikki then went full steam ahead with her research. And this is why we're at the stage we're at now.
Well, tell us about the research that you did, Nikki. What kind of criteria did you use, and was it all online research? How did you go about it?
Initially, it was, first of all, it's always going to be financially. We'd only seen it for a few weeks for holidays, but actually while we were out there, we met a couple of people, Canadian and American, who had moved there and was telling us, and it sowed the seed really. So I came home and joined some of the blogs like your site and just started chatting to other people. But then I think we've been home 6 weeks now, but we actually went over to Mexico for 5 weeks, to Mérida area, Progreso, and looked throughout the Yucatan, and just spent some more time there and sort of orientated ourselves a little bit. But the key point was for us is that although I'm still young enough and want to work, obviously it was somewhere that we needed to be able to afford to live off Michael's pension alone, without the need to work. So it was a safety net really, and it measured up for us, isn't it? It ticked, as everyone says, all the right boxes. A big thing, obviously, the climate year round, and just the lifestyle, the way of living. We want to, having been in law enforcement for so long, we're quite cynical, and we've seen a lot, and we just want to step out of that world and really unwind and just get away from it, really.
So was it the Canadians and Americans that you met in the Cancun area that turned you on to Mérida and Progreso in that area?
Well, initially it started out that we didn't really know much about Mérida and the Yucatan. It was very, I suppose, narrow-minded of us that we obviously drawn to the Caribbean Sea, as everybody is, because it's stunning. And we first started looking at Tulum and that sort of region. But we realised that although it was beautiful and there are many expats there, it was maybe just a little touristy for us, and we wanted something a little more authentic, if that's the right word. And that's when we met some people. And again, through research, just stumbled across Mérida, really.
And you ticked off some things that Mérida is perfect for you. Did you then begin processing a visa to go to Mexico, or when are you planning on moving?
So what we did, the 5 weeks was an orientation just to see if the area suited us. So we went to, we tried Tulum and Acamel first. We had a couple of weeks in those areas. And then we spent the last 2.5 weeks in Mérida. We used local transport, the ADO buses, and we tried to be as if we were there rather than trying to do all the tourist stuff. Yeah, we did the nice things such as the ruins and the temples and etc. But we wanted to do things that we would do normally. So, for example, when we went to Mérida, I had my hair cut. Now that sounds quite simple, but in 30 odd years, only 5 people have cut my hair. So traveling to Mexico and having a lady cut my hair who spoke very little English, but it was still far better than my Spanish, and have her cut my hair and it being really good was important. So little things like that. Nikki had her nails done, and just to be part of the normal life there, and so that 5 weeks then made us realise that that's the area that we wanted to go to. It had a bit of everything: quiet, the seaside within half an hour, but it still had the big city with a bit of a buzz and a younger crowd, and and places to be, and the colonial side of it. It wasn't just a big city full of cars. It had nice things to see. So, yeah, that's what made us decide on that. So now...
Yeah, I'm going to say, but the immediate plan from here is that we're hoping to settle this move early next year. So we've contacted the consulate down in London, and we're going to make arrangements for visa probably very early after Christmas next year. So it's just a case of, obviously, we have things at this end. We have our own home, which we will either need to decide whether we're going to sell the home or we're going to rent out our home. Those are things we are not 100% sure what we're going to do yet, but obviously work is fine for Michael. He doesn't have to give notice, and I'm self-employed now. I work for myself as a chiropodist podiatrist. So again, it's just a case of saying that's it, I'm going, and pending the visa, we should be ready to go.
Will you be looking to purchase a home or rent a home in Mérida?
Well, when we came over, we were very fortunate to have managed to make a contact with somebody when we had a look round, and at completely different sites. So some of the new gated communities over there, and also some land. And we'll definitely, I think we're going to look to try and perhaps build something. But obviously for the first 6 months, we're going to rent just to be 100% sure of the area, but yeah, we'd like to build something.
Where will you rent? In the downtown area, or out in the suburbs, or in
we were looking
Progreso on the beach?
Probably north of Mérida, maybe the villages that side. So it's more the Progreso side. Definitely not the south side of Mérida. We like the north. We like what it's got to offer, and a quick hop and a skip, and you're at the coast, which would suit us fine.
So describe your ideal home that you would build. What would it look like?
For me, the look of it would be very colonial. I'm not one for cardboard square boxes. I want a bit of character, but I do like single level. But it doesn't have to be anything lavish, but it has to have a pool and lots of greenery. I know it's not going to be easy with the climate to keep everything lush and green, but it's important to me to have some vegetation and some wildlife around.
Yeah. For me, it's natural light, and that's the problem we're going to have, because everybody seems to block out natural light, because with it comes the heat. So it's a balance, but I as soon as I can get natural light anywhere, I'll have natural light. I don't like to, even on an evening here, I don't like to close the blinds, the curtains until it's really, really dark, because I like to get as much light as I can. But apart from that, I just let Nikki decide.
Safe move.
When you were in Mexico for the 5-week orientation tour that you did you have a chance to sample the cost of living, the restaurants that are the non-tourist restaurants, and purchasing fruits and vegetables and shopping at the local stores and so forth?
We did.
Yep.
We did. We know the different degrees of, or different, what would you say, standards of supermarkets comparable to the UK, which are which. We shopped local. We shopped. We ate at local restaurants. I mean, we did eat at some tourist restaurants, I must admit. But you know, it's only so much you can do. And we just tried to be as normal as we could.
Yeah, we used the laundrettes. We looked into the local like bathroom decor shops and compared prices of cars, finance, and everything that we could compare. We tried to compare. And the one thing that we did note that was actually more expensive was branded clothing. We were quite shocked at the costs of department store prices, like your Sears or what have you. It was considerably more expensive than in the UK, which, as I say, was surprising.
How do you plan to move? Are you going to move all of your furniture down there and your cars? And what's your plan?
To get rid of everything. I mean, initially we'll try and rent the house, so everything in the house will stay and it will be part of the rental. It will come furnished. In respect to the cars, we will just have to sell those privately and give them up. And then after the 6 months of us being over there, we'll have to sort of possibly come back to the UK and make a final decision what we choose to do, whether we choose to remain renting forevermore or then obviously put our home on the market. So to be honest, I don't think any part of our plan at the moment is to bring anything other than our personal belongings with us. It's just too far.
We've considered it. We've got prices from removal companies, but they all take it to Mexico City. And then, it seems to be a bit of a logistic nightmare. We've spoken to some other Brits that have gone out over there, and their stuff was left in Mexico City for 6 weeks and then sent back to the UK for no apparent reason. So we don't want to get into that. We'd rather just turn up with our suitcases, see how it goes, and then, if the only thing I'm going to miss is my TV, I'll be honest. I've got a big TV. That's the only thing that I think I'm going to really miss.
Replacing that in Mexico is going to be expensive, let me tell you.
I've looked. I've checked everywhere. Yeah, I've done it all. I've checked. It's scary.
So
have you tapped in at all with the expat community down there via online?
Oh, yes. We've made some very good friends already, as I say, just from our little trip over there. We've met some lovely Canadians, not many Americans actually, but a few Brits as well, and some Mexicans. So, we're still in touch with a few couples. Obviously, just nice to see how it's progressing for them and listen to the changes that are happening and just keeping up to date with what's going on, really. Yeah.
You had mentioned to me via email that you had embarked upon taking Spanish lessons so you could be prepared when you arrived in Mexico to, have some degree of functionality with the language. How's that going?
We're in week 3, so it's very early days. But I think we'd be lost without the Duolingo app, which everyone has told us to get practicing on. So, it's going slow, but I would never want to just arrive into a country and be completely ignorant to them. I'm going to try my very best to learn the language, but we know that until we get there, it's never easy to integrate, is it, and learn it properly until you get there. So we're trying.
Well, good for you. So you're using Duolingo. Did you consider at all hiring someone to be your tutor or attend classes?
Oh, yes. We are having classes. As I say, we're on week 3 now, so we have a class once a week. There's a Venezuelan lady that lives just a couple of miles from our village, so she's given us private tuition as well. Yeah.
Did you have a checklist, Nikki? You sound like you're really a good planner. Did you have a checklist when you started looking at moving abroad?
Yes, but not on a list form. To be honest, the checklist was very short. It had to be very temperate. It had to be very warm. It had to be pretty much on a direct flight from the UK. And it had to be inexpensive and good quality of life. They were the 4 things. That's all that mattered.
And Mérida has air connections that can get you to the UK fairly easily, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we can fly direct from Manchester, which is not too far, straight into Cancun. And then obviously from Cancun, we can get the bus or fly into Merida. But another thing is we both love the States, and we want to do a lot of traveling in Mexico as well, but also of the US. So having the airport at Merida is perfect for us to get in and out of the US as well. So that's a double bonus.
Are you planning to buy a car when you're down there, or just going to use local transportation?
No, I think we are going to need a car. How good a car we're going to get when we first get there. If we're only going to be there for 6 months, I think we might just get a run around, but I don't know how that works, because we looked at second-hand cars there, and they're almost, some of them are nearly as expensive as brand new ones. So we're going to use our contacts to see what the best thing to do. Mm-hmm. But ideally, we'd maybe buy something cheap for a few months, and if it's going to be for us, then we'll buy something more substantial that could last.
Mm-hmm. Nikki, you had mentioned that you had changed professions. Are you planning on doing that when you're in Mexico?
I'd very much like to. I understand that once we get there, it would be a case of applying for the work visa and, permissions once we get there. As I say, I am self-employed. I don't know how and the ins and outs of being self-employed and the tax implications over there. That's something that I'll have to obviously really do more research on. But I would like to think that I could certainly actually work and continue my job over there.
So what are the top 3 things you guys hope to achieve by moving to Mexico? What are you looking to get out of it?
Go on, you can go.
It's a balanced way of life. I've got health problems. My health problems are all to do with my musculoskeletal. I don't get ill. I break things or damage things, etc. And I just want to get some stability with all that. And I think being out in the sunshine, the warm climate, that's the important thing to start with. And if we can earn some more money to make our life even more comfortable, because it's important to us that we have a place big enough so that family and friends can come over. That is important. We don't just want a place just for us. We want to be able to share it and hopefully maybe persuade them to come and join us.
Sounds like a great plan. How about you, Nikki?
Similar, really. I think for me, it's having the outdoor life. Here in the UK, we're very fortunate at the moment because we've had the hottest summer probably since 1976.
Since you were born.
Since the year I was born. So we've had 3 months of it being glorious, and it's unheard of. But for me, I like to run. I'm very sporty. And we like to go out and just set off and see where the day takes us. And in the UK, you can't plan for anything. You can't have parties. You can't have any outdoor life whatsoever. And it is just being able to enjoy life and slow down for me.
That's what Mexico is all about. What recommendations would you give to someone planning a move to Mexico? Since you've been heavily invested and in this whole move and planning the move, what tips would you give to someone who's in your shoes right now and considering Mexico as a place to live?
Definitely do what we did, which is spend a protracted length of time there, probably in excess of what we did, maybe a couple of months, and tour the area that you're looking at. Don't limit yourself to all the big tourist names that you've heard of. Get off the beaten track and do your own legwork and get to meet the locals. Set up being part of the blogs, the support network, social network sites, because they're a wealth of information. Give really good advice. And don't expect too much, because wherever you go, it's never going to be paradise. There's always going to be pros and cons, and be realistic. About what you want to achieve. Yeah.
Everybody's seeking utopia, but be realistic. If you've got your health, got the weather, you've got enough money in your pocket, that's it.
True.
Accept the failings of places.
Great advice. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for talking to me this morning. And best of luck, and we'll hope to stay in contact with you.
Thank
Pleasure.
you.
Thank you very
too.
much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye now.